I think we need to take a little bit of a step back and talk about our first failed business acquisition. And I'll pour Dave a little bit of tequila for this one because I think that it's...
Considering this story, a little bit more than a little might be warranted.
That foray cost us $4.5 million, give or take.
See what happens when you partner with a friend from Wall Street to expand your business and ultimately get blindsided by a bad business acquisition in the HVAC service industry. This is the why, how, and what I learned starting Filterbuy HVAC Solutions.
So this week, I'm really focused on HVAC solutions. I'm actually going to spend some time in the field with our guys because I'm very curious to just understand the processes and the pain points. I'm very much a process and system-oriented guy. Filterbuy has been built around systems that we're able then to repeat over and over again as we scale. But we had a lot of bumps in the road in the HVAC solutions business. And I probably should have waited a little while to go as big into it as I did. But I'm very much committed to building and growing that nationwide HVAC service business because I think that's just really critical on our mission for building the world's leading indoor air quality company. So this week, we're going to kind of show you what we're doing today so you can follow us along as we build it.
So HVAC refers to both the air conditioning or heating system in your house. H is for heating, V is for ventilation, more commonly referred to as the duct system, and then AC for air conditioning. So where we're at is definitely different than where we started. Not knowing too much about the service side of the air conditioning business, David and I, after reconnecting, we decided to buy a business. We decided to buy an air conditioning service business that was based here in South Florida. We thought it would be the best way to learn the day-to-day of how these businesses operate. What do the technicians do? What sorts of marketing strategies are employed? What does customer service look like in the air conditioning and home service business? But about 18 months ago, we made the decision to close the brand that we had originally bought and roll all of these residential air conditioning services into the broader banner of Filterbuy.
When did you actually quit your job at Goldman and when did we start looking at acquisition?
It was in the summer of 2020 that it was clear to me I needed to do something new. So I started to resign and step back from my role that fall. And then we really started our diligence process, looking at companies of all shapes and sizes in lots of different places in that third and fourth quarter of 2020.
We moved quick because I remember it was end of March 2021 where we closed on our acquisition.
At the time, it felt like we were taking forever to make that acquisition.
And I was about to say, and that's another thing. One of my core principles we talk about a lot is patience. And I think neither of us were being patient in that because we wanted to get rolling and we thought we were moving so slow, which is something I've been guilty at many times in my life. But we would have been probably better suited to have worked through it a little bit slower and been less of a rush to make such a big decision.
I kind of assumed that the financials were the full truth. But when you don't understand the way a business actually works, the numbers to some degree don't mean all that much.
When we actually got into it, we realized that the amount of money coming in consistently or the amount of revenue that we were booking was quite a bit different than the history that they had represented.
What we didn't know, what was going on behind the scenes, was in fact there were a number of different businesses, all in the home service space, that were adding up, to the top line revenue that we thought we were buying.
It took us months of running it to really start to understand what we were doing wrong. Not only did we end up buying a business that was not as healthy as we originally represented, in our opinion at least, the sales practices and the way that they were actually doing business was probably the biggest problem.
And what made it even more challenging, and this is something honestly we didn't understand when we first got into the business, is just how salesy in the wrong way a lot of home service businesses can be. Marketing is a big expense of running any home service business. So if you want to get paid back on your marketing dollars, there's a lot of pressure by salespeople who are oftentimes posing as technicians, but are really just salespeople to make money for the company today. And with air conditioning, the way it is in plumbing, the way it is with your mechanic, if the professional that you're going to knows just a little bit more than the customer and they don't have a good moral compass, they're in a position to take advantage of that customer. It was clear that we weren't going to be able to run some of the higher pressure, less than honest, if we're being generous, sales tactics that the business that we bought was used to using in order to pay its bills. So that meant we had to go back to the drawing board in a really meaningful way and ask ourselves the question, what kind of a business do we want to run?
Okay, well, today I'm spending my time with Filterbuy HVAC Solutions, and the team is going to walk me through what it's like doing an install. We're still small for an HVAC service business. Our Filterbuy business is large, but our Filterbuy HVAC Solutions is still small. We're only in South Florida. We're still learning. We're still building those systems, iterating and figuring out what it's going to take to really scale and really succeed. And so because of that, I spend more and more time with them, really understanding what are their needs, what are our bottlenecks, what are the things that we can be doing better in order to be able to scale this business. And the only way you're going to do that is actually coming and spending time with the employees, talking with their customers, learning their needs, and really understanding our business and the business that we're in.
What would be the most tough customer interaction you've had? Do you have a good story for that?
I want to tell you the truth. I don't know if it's because of the sales rep Filterbuy have. We get a lot of good customer, mostly good customer at Filterbuy, to be honest with you. Prior to where I'm coming from, used to have some mean customer, but we get some good customer here. When we finish and get them cooling down, yeah, buy lunch, buy beer.
That's probably a good sign. Yeah.
So I think one of the great things about operating an air conditioning business is you really have the opportunity to build a long-run relationship with your customers. It's everything from selling them filters that they're replacing maybe monthly or quarterly, to doing their annual maintenance, which might take you into their house every 6 months or every year. So when we saw a version of air conditioning services that didn't sit right with us and wasn't the kind of long-run relationship that we wanted to build with our customers, we knew that we had to move not just in the other direction, but we had to move strongly. So for us, the start of our relationships with our customers really starts with maintenance.
That foray cost us $4.5 million, give or take. At the end of the day, it's an experience that really accelerated, I think, our learning process and ultimately our ability to pivot into a nationwide kind of scope that we are attacking today. So in some sense, it's actually responsible, I think, for that, because if we had just followed that model and made it work, I think it would have looked very different. My intent is to offer a very high quality service at the end of the day that is consistent, that you as the consumer know that if you're calling us, that we're going to give you a fair price, we're going to be honest with you, and we're going to be there when you need us. And that is the reputation that over time we intend to build, and we want to build that on top of our already good reputation in the air filter business. A big piece of our strategy there is we are going to build the equivalent of Amazon Prime for your HVAC. That is a big push for us here in South Florida, but we intend to take that nationwide. I think that's a big goal, but it's something that, you know, we're really going to be experimenting with over the coming months and years.
Don't forget to subscribe, because next week I'm taking you behind the scenes and sharing with you exactly how I plan to get Filterbuy to $1 billion a year and beyond.
You're shipping this much a week to Walmart?
Yeah, it's been pretty substantial. I mean, 20,000 filters a week. Wow,
that's more than
we're settling in on.
That's more than I realized.
No.
I thought it was half that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
Yeah. And now
Yeah,
with
so
four filters per kit.
we're shipping this every week just to Walmart right now. So if you're going to expand your retailer, we're going to have to get more space, I guess. I don't know.